Hello. Welcome back to the Wasteland Podcast. We're taking a chill this episode. No loud, obnoxious YouTube-centric opening where I scream at you and say, "Hey guys, what's up?" Bullshit like that. I'm Shane. I'm the host. Tyler's here. He's kind of whatever.
Hey, I'm Tyler. I'm the co-host.
He just shows up.
I'm a
sometimes.
co-host. Shane came to me. He said, "Hey, I'm thinking about hosting a podcast. Do you want to be the co-host?" I said, "Please, yes, please." And he said, "Okay, yes. Let me put it in my schedule. Let me see what I can do." And next thing you know, I'm here. I'm glad to be here. So I'm the co-host. That's weird.
You're the only one.
Yes.
Who's glad to be here.
Yes. Wait. Do we have a guest today? Shane?
Yeah. We have a guest.
Oh, who's it?
Some guy I picked off the street on my way.
Yeah, you're always picking up dudes. You're always like trying to pick up dudes for some reason.
Okay, don't expose me like that.
Yeah. Who is it?
It's Jeremiah.
Ooh, Jeremiah.
Hi.
Say.
Never been here before. Shane just drug me in here.
Yeah.
Let's not get into the details. I might get a suit.
If we just straight up stole someone off the streets. I have to look up something.
What's his name?
Don't say that. Say his name.
His name?
Okay, so literally today, somebody died, and it's kind of a big deal. Of course, this episode's gonna be up the day after, maybe even the day after that. But so everyone's gonna know about this. But this is our real like raw reaction to it,
Like real time. Like
Shane.
this is pretty much us like at the hospital watching him die.
All right, let's not.
Okay,
When Shane came in, he opened the door and he's like, did you hear he died? And I was like, what are you talking about? Who died? And so it's Chadwick Boseman died. He's the guy who plays Black Panther. So that has a lot of implications for the movies, but those are just movies. Like the guy died for real. But
I didn't even think about that.
oh yeah, no, it's gonna fuck up a lot of shit. But
He was supposed to be like one of the main.
yeah, well, so Black Panther, I mean, everyone knows that movie is very special to a lot of people, but they only made the first one, and he's such a huge. That movie is super central to that universe, and so like, yeah, that's really crazy. Like those movies are just gonna have to like go back to the drawing board, but like. It's not that I don't just want to say like this sucks if you're like a Marvel fan. It really is like he's literally the Black Panther, and that movie was very like important and near and dear for a lot of fucking people for a very obvious reason. So like the fact that he died like during all this shit is kind of like craziness.
Mm-hmm. When did Black Panther come out?
2018? 2019?
It wasn't last year. Yeah, but I think it was. It might have been 2018. I looked it up.
He died of stage 4 colon cancer.
Yeah.
But I mean, like he was diagnosed with stage 3. I don't know. It just seems. I don't know. I guess he was really healthy though.
Minus the butt cancer.
Yeah, minus the butt cancer.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but you can be mostly healthy and then, butt cancer. But he, yeah, that movie came out 2018. So I remember it coming out early that year. I was with our friends, and we were taking Kaylee with us, and she had no idea what this movie was. So DJ told her it's like the best, coolest movie ever, and she thought it was about like she thought it was a movie like that was like a dramatization about like the real Black Panthers, like the movement. And so when he was telling her that he was super like excited and he loved it and it was super important to him and stuff like that, she totally took it in the wrong direction. And when we were trying to explain to her what it actually was, she got really bummed out really fast. And she's like, I don't fucking care about these movies, guys. I don't like Marvel movies at all.
DJ would be like
he's not even that into superhero movies either, but he was like super hyped about that one. So it's like
When he's like, I was just gonna say he'd be like a really scary, like actual Black Panther. Like if DJ was super into like militant. Like,
yeah, I know he's definitely. I mean, DJ's very political.
he's very political, but he's
But
also like a really chill
he's-
guy.
He's extremely chill. Yeah, he would not hurt a fly
No.
for sure. But I mean, yeah. The Black Panther movement is actually interesting. I would love to see that kind of movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but
There is a Malcolm X movie, right?
it's a great
on
movie.
Netflix.
It's a great movie. It's by Spike Lee. It's very good. I liked it a lot. Who is it? Denzel Washington plays Malcolm X. That movie, it's somewhat accurate. Like it's actually pretty accurate to what really happens, and it starts off with Malcolm X being like a degenerate, like he dyes his hair red. He's hanging out with like gangsters, and he's like, it's like in the 50s or whatever. So he's like trying to be like a cool cat guy, and then when he goes to prison, everyone's like, "Why are you acting white?" He's like, "Why do you straighten your hair and dye it colors and shit? Like you're black. You need to own that."
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts. This is what actually happened. Malcolm X was in prison, read constantly, got educated, came out, and was like, "I'm starting a movement." So, yeah, he's a cool dude. Cool story.
I know like nothing about him either.
No.
Then it's a good place to start, and you can look up stuff, after the fact and compare it. So it's always cool to do.
I feel like
It's one of the few like biopics I think is actually like not a waste of time. Like most of them, like Straight Outta Compton can kiss my ass, and
Yeah.
I liked Bohemian Rhapsody, but that movie that movie doesn't really go over the important parts, and it takes liberties to other places. I just liked it because I like Queen. So
Yeah.
um,
I haven't seen that one either.
I don't know
It's
much
good, but-
about Malcolm X either.
Yeah.
And I want to blame that on the public school system.
they don't want to talk
For-
much about Malcolm X. They want to talk about MLK.
They want to talk about MLK and
Yeah.
peaceful protests instead of
They don't want to talk about
both
the part.
sides to the.
They don't want to talk about when MLK said that protests are the voice for the voiceless, and like this is like
They're the natural conclusion of
Right.
suppression.
yeah, like this is what comes next. MLK was also a democratic socialist who super duper disagreed with the Vietnam War and definitely didn't want to go with it. And I mean, he was very anti what America was all about back then. I mean, he was just a giant, super duper left leaning person. And so people in the center or the right try to co-opt his messages. And it's like you do realize he would literally still be agreeing with us. Everyone always says like Martin Luther King wanted everyone to be equal, and it's like, yeah, I know. Like, I know what he said, bro. You're misinterpreting what he said. I promise you.
Yeah.
He was for affirmative action. He was for like all the stuff that people on the left are for now, basically. So yeah.
It makes it really cool that like Bernie was involved with him back in the day.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
Because like
And it makes it so it's like it's not that crazy to think like see how Bernie came to having his conclusion. He's been having these same beliefs his whole fucking life. Well, MLK had these beliefs too. Like,
right, like it puts a highlight on like, oh wait, so this guy likes it, like really liked MLK.
Yeah.
And then like, Obama or whatever was like, he would have been too young, but like
Right.
like did not feel the same
Yeah.
way or whatever, and neither did
Well,
Bush or Clinton or like
Obama ran on being a super duper liberal guy. He promised change. Obama literally ran on free healthcare. For some reason, we all hate that now, but he literally ran on trying to get us free healthcare. It was literally called free healthcare. It just wasn't called Medicare for all back then. Bernie kind of he kind of revamped it. It was like, now it's Medicare for all. But
Speaking of that, MLK being a democratic social, that just makes me think of the Boondocks episode.
with it, when MLK comes back,
Yeah, and everyone hates
Yeah,
him for being a
he goes on the news and all sides hate him because he doesn't agree with either of the sides.
He doesn't like the war.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Are you American?
Mr. King, okay, you're an advocate of nonviolence, but guess what? How do you think the United States should respond to the terror attacks of 9/11?
Well, as a Christian, we are taught that you should love thy enemy, and if attacked, you should turn the other cheek.
The president was very concerned by some comments made by some ex-civil rights leaders, and those people in question should watch their goddamn fucking mouths.
Of course, an Al-Qaeda lover like Martin Luther King wants us to just roll over and let the terrorists win because he hates America. My suggestion, go take another 30-year nap, commie bastard.
That's how it was, dude.
Yeah.
That's literally how it was back then. It was terrible. Like
the Iraq War.
yeah, the discourse surrounding it was obnoxious as fuck. But I mean, even now, I was telling my mom like why it's perfectly reasonable to not stand for the flag during the national anthem, because I was talking about the football stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, if you don't like the country's freedoms, then you can just leave it. And I was like, what if I could? But it's just like, what are you talking about, freedoms? I feel like we're not nearly as free as so many other countries.
And we're still a lot freer than a lot of other countries.
Of course.
Too. We're just not like, we always advertise
We
ourselves
just-
as like the freest country.
Right.
And it's like,
Which
we're
was
like,
accurate
we're
back
like
then.
15 or 16.
It was accurate when Britain had a fucking monarchy.
Right.
but no one what country is run by a monarchy right now? I can't name one. Like I know I can name some religious theocracies. I can't name any monarchies.
Thailand?
Is it? I have no
Thailand
idea.
or Vietnam, I forget. They have a royal family, but also like, I think technically he's elected as president, but it's been for like 30 years or something, and he just kind of
yeah. I mean, yeah, no, that without a term limit, I mean, we didn't have one for a long time either. So it's like without a term limit, anything could happen. So, but yeah, I mean, sure, we used to be. I mean, but even back then, even when we were like the land of the free, we were still like slavery, though. Like, you know, and obviously progress is always relative, but I feel like the whole world's been progressing. It's been great. And now, like, I feel like other countries are progressing past us.
Yeah.
So it's like we need to catch up with that. But maybe there is something to be said about the products we were able to produce and all this and that. But maybe we could still do those things under democratic socialism. That's what I
really feel like we could. Like,
yeah. I mean, maybe some production could be halted, but I also feel like we also produce a lot of resources we don't even need half the time. We just have stockpiles of shit. So I don't know.
It's something like I think it's almost 50% of food.
Yeah.
Before it even reaches stores, is thrown away.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because it just like rots in warehouses, or like it's not pretty enough. Or whatever.
There's actually someone was talking about how like the farmer crisis doesn't exist because we have so much. Farmers produce so much shit, we don't use it. So it's like, yeah, it was exactly what you're talking about. So I mean, farmers are doing fine. Like, you know, yeah.
Some of them are. I know dairy farmers have a hard time because there's like a monopoly on like the prairie farms or whatever.
Right.
Like,
on the milk
industry.
industry.
We're not buying your milk, and it's like, but I just made all this fucking milk.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, we'll throw it in the gutter.
Yeah, that is weird to think about how like one industry owns milk. But
and eggs.
Yeah.
Like, chicken farmers have a hard time too with like Tyson.
Yeah.
Just like there's a really good Netflix series called oh shit, what's that called? It's like 6 little documentaries.
Yeah.
Per season.
It's like it's like a mini series, I guess.
Yeah, kind of on how different foods are produced and what the problems are in that industry. So they do honey, they do avocados, they do.
That would be interesting.
Chicken. I should know what this is called. I've watched it a couple times, but they did weed, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done weed before too. But anyway. Yeah, you should look up what that's called so I can at least put it in the description or just put it on screen right here, right now. But yeah,
I love it when I
Yeah, move that
I love
over.
it when people say that and then it actually pops up. I get kind of happy.
I do it. Yeah, no, I mean, I do it all the time. I love it. I love to do it. Though I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You want to talk about? We were just talking about MLK and Malcolm X and Black Panther. So you want to use that as a segue to, because there's like two things that happened that are kind of related. I mean, they're actually very related if you really think about it, because it actually happened in Wisconsin, the same state that guy was shot in. So.
And
You're looking up the story. Looking up the
well, I
news
looked up.
story.
I was trying to look up his name because I wasn't sure if it was Jacob, and the story popped up about how the hospital shackled him to the bed after he was shot.
Yeah, because he's probably trying to get out. He's probably trying to run or something, I guess. Yeah, because he didn't die.
He didn't.
No, they unloaded a fucking entire like clip on him, and he's not
the
dead.
guy they shot in the back.
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
Wisconsin.
So his name's Jacob, right?
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake. Okay.
No, because after that happened, there was rioting, and then
Yeah.
the one kid came up. To
Yes.
Wisconsin.
So there was rioting in Wisconsin because that happened in Wisconsin, and this is where the 17-year-old boy pops up,
Okay.
and he shoots some
Let's start
protesters.
we should start with Jacob Blake.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't
Discuss
watched that
first
video
and
yet
then
either.
watch.
Yeah.
The Jacob Blake video.
Yeah,
You haven't?
I have not. Yeah,
I mean, if you want to
should
see,
probably- You should probably let him watch it.
if you want to see a guy get shot in the back over and over, like it's literally like a whole clip.
It's horrible. It really is
let's-
terrible.
I kind of feel like, for the most part, you've seen one
Can I
video
even?
of
Yeah, I can watch
cops
it here.
shooting people in the back. Kind of seen like most of them.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. They might not. This is YouTube, so they might not show it, but
Might
Yeah,
have to
the-
go on Live Leak or something.
Jacob Blake video. I always watch it on Twitter where they can just show everything. So
Oh yeah,
I might just type in Twitter.
yeah. Because honestly, I don't really want to be on.
I
Live
saw it
Leak
on
right now.
Instagram.
Instagram's usually pretty
Okay.
bad
So
about
here's
censoring stuff.
can I make it bigger? Can I unmute that now? So here he is. He's literally just he gets in his car and he's dead. Like it's that quick. Like I'll rewind it a little
Well,
bit.
he's not
here.
dead though, right? He's just paralyzed.
Yeah, he's not dead. He's fucked up. I mean, when you watch this video, you're like, this is a dude who died, but he's alive still. I don't know how.
When I first
That
watched the
one
video-
guy's just pointing his gun. This other dude, the other cop who's holding him,
You
is
can-
just
you
like
can-
bam, 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 bam.
If you turn it up, you can hear the gunshots.
Oh yeah, well for sure. But yeah,
Basically shoots him 7 times for no reason.
yeah. So like, okay,
It didn't even look
there's-
like he was reaching
okay,
for something. It
here-
looked
that's
like he was
that's the
just getting
thing.
in the car.
So you can see there. Okay, that's just a chick, right? But you can see there was another cop here and then 2 cops, right? So there's 3 cops. He's just look how slowly he's just walking to his car. Okay, eventually that cop does go up and grab him, but like they're just like walking behind him. Like it's such a casual thing apparently, but clearly this video doesn't show it. But clearly they were just wrestling on the ground, right? And so the dude's just getting up and walking. What the fuck's going on?
Right.
Like, is it the 3 fucking Stooges? Like, how did you not get him at this point? Like, if you're trying to tackle him down, just tackle him down. What the fuck's the problem? They just like let him get up and walk around, then they shoot him to death.
And the thing is, like,
You gonna take him in or not?
he had a criminal past.
Yeah,
He had a knife in his car, from what I heard.
yeah. I've heard he had a knife. I heard he had a weapon in his
But
car.
even if all that was true, there was 3 cops there, and like you said, he just walked to his car. Like,
Yeah,
even whenever he leaned in, there was 2 cops standing right behind him. Even if he was grabbing for the knife,
yeah.
they could have each grabbed an arm and kicked his legs out from
Right.
under him. Like,
Or,
Also-
instead of shooting him 7 times,
And
they could have just shot him once.
or so like
tased him.
yeah. Some people brought up
or-
the taser. Some people said he was already tased because apparently you can hear the police radio going into this. But here's my thing. Even if you just don't need to shoot the guy, you can try the taser again, taser plus tackling him, taser, point your gun at him and say drop the knife. You ever have whatever happened to that? Whatever happened to drop your weapon?
Yeah.
What do you think he's gonna do? Do a fucking like super Matrix move and slit your throat instantly? No, he's fucking random dude. If anything, he'll swing his knife and like cut your elbow or something. Like, dude.
Which sucks. Like,
no, I get you're
like,
putting
yeah,
your life
like,
on the line. I get
but
that.
But that's also like that's the job description.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Like, it's literally like people are like, we got to protect our cops. No cop should ever die. It's like, I mean, like if it's gonna be protecting citizens or cops dying,
you want to keep this
the
up?
cop should die. Like that's like if anyone's gonna die, it should be the cop. Like, it sucks.
I would, yeah. I mean, it does suck a lot to say and admit. So I mean, I would say that I don't say that like easily, but I will say that like, yeah, if we're talking about saving an innocent person's life versus like a cop possibly getting killed or just hurt, like, yeah, I'd rather this guy not be dead right now.
Right.
Or well, he's not dead. He's fucked up probably for life, but the fact that he's not dead is how many vital organs you gotta miss that up close range.
Yeah, he was
when you shoot
like
that
this,
many times.
Pop.
And they have pretty
It's
bad
shocking
standards for like what their marksmanship has to be. Just like physical fitness,
right?
Like,
oh yeah, no, I know that. I think it's been getting easier to become a cop lately because so many people are quitting or being fired or whatever. Like,
yeah.
So right now, so many people are becoming cops that I think that the tests are lower and lower to become one.
And yeah,
okay,
the marksmanship is like, from what I've heard, is like really low.
That's
and like
you just gotta shoot. You don't even have to hit anything. You just have to be able to shoot.
You have to be able to.
That's
hit
what happened
the target,
here.
And like
well,
you don't have to.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen this other.
Can I just point out, like, hold on. Oh, Twitter, don't be fucking stupid right now. Load, damn you. I just want to point out something I didn't even notice before until now. Let's see here. Let me mute this again. Look how this guy is doing the whole two hands on his gun thing, but this other dude is walking with one hand on his gun, like he's like he has. Look at him. Why does he have one hand on his gun like that? He's not even aiming it. He's not looking down the sights at all.
That's on like, you don't necessarily have to do that for every like.
Well, yeah,
every pistol, but like, you can see probably why the reason he was so off on his shots is you can watch the recoil on his hand, and his hand's just jerking around like crazy, and that's the main purpose of using two hands.
Yeah.
Well, I want to watch the video on the right now.
The video on the right is the kid, because it's the comparison of his interaction with the police versus their interaction, and so the obvious comparison is that the reason why they shot the guy is because maybe he was going for the knife. We don't know, but this kid literally holding a gun, and he literally used it and literally killed two people with it that night and shot someone else, and he's like, just walk. Now, obviously, the police don't know he shot someone, right? But the fact that you can just walk around open carry in these hostile situations, I think is problematic. I don't think that should be allowed. I mean, I understand open carry is a thing, and people who carry their rifles like that are protesting their open carry rights. But I don't think open carry protesting is super appropriate during these protests and riot for Black Lives, you know? So I just think it's a problem that the police are okay with it. Like, especially when they're like those other videos we used to show where the cops, where the dude's got his hands up, he's like, we're all human beings, man, and the cops like, get him, and they just arrest him.
Yeah,
you know, all these videos of cops just arresting people for seemingly no reason at all,
or tear gassing them.
Yeah, or and it's like other people can just walk around with their fucking guns in the middle of this crazy hostile environment. And yeah, that kid, first of all, 17, and you're supposed to be 18 if you open carry, at least in that state, is what I'm reading. I don't know about every state. I don't know about every gun law, okay?
I think that's pretty standard.
I'm pretty sure you can't
there's probably
open carry underage. Like, that just doesn't make sense.
You can probably do that in, like, Mississippi or Kentucky or
something.
But, like,
yeah.
I think pretty much across the entire country, it's like.
And here's the thing about gun laws, because, you know, I'm clearly we're pretty left leaning here, but we do talk about like other positions sometimes on certain things. But like, just to be clear, like the reason why states have different gun laws is because I don't think there is many gun issues in Mississippi and Kentucky and stupid shit like that.
Right.
Like, it's not really been a problem there. So like, you know, but like if this is a problem, like open carrying in like these crazy hostile situations, whereas like in Kentucky it's just like fucking people like shooting cans or whatever, just
going out
whatever.
in the field and shooting a coyote. Or
right?
like,
yeah, it's harmless. You know, it's not like there's not fucking protests in the cities of Kentucky because there ain't no fucking cities in Kentucky.
Right.
Like, yeah. So, yeah. So I was telling Shane this before you came over. My uncle told my mom, then my mom told me because I didn't want to see my family. Okay. She asked me to come see my family on a day that I really just was not feeling it, and my brothers weren't going, so it was just me and then people I really have nothing in common with. Very, very uberly Christian. My aunt thinks that dinosaurs and people coexisted because that's the only way dinosaurs and God can coexist. You can't believe in God and dinosaurs unless they live together.
A lot of Christians don't believe in dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's weird. But I mean, it's not that weird because it literally challenges your belief. But I just wish if you're a Christian, you could just be like, yeah, evolution probably happened, but God did it. I just don't know why that's not popular. I mean, we've talked about this on the podcast. Me and Shane have many times.
There's literally more proof of dinosaurs than there is a God.
I know.
There's
no proof of God. God is 100%. You have to have faith in it.
It's God is created by humans, whereas dinosaurs actually existed and aren't fictitious.
Right. I mean, if there's an explanation for those bones and why they were so deep under the ground and everything, and that explains that dinosaurs didn't exist, I would love to fucking hear it. But literally, when I was a kid, my brother told me that dinosaurs the bones were there because God was trying to test us. I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. Even when I believed in God, I was like, that's probably not it, Chief. You're probably wrong on that one. That's probably not it. Dinosaurs probably were real, bro. I had to break it to you, but
what kind of test was that?
I don't know.
We failed the test. You believe in dinosaurs.
Fine. Damn it.
God is always testing us because there's so much shit that probably disproves it. But so at least anyway, I don't want to get too into the thing because I don't care what anyone believes. It's fine. You can literally believe what you want. My point is that they're kind of pushy with their religious stuff. I say this stuff to you guys. I want to say it to them, okay? And what my uncle said to my mom was, if my wife was in a medical emergency and I had to drive through a protest, I would get my gun and I would say, move or I will shoot you. And my response is that, why don't you just ask them to move without the gun and say, please, my wife needs medical assistance? There's literally nurses out there during these protests who could even help you. But also, the police and the people would probably work together to clear a path for you. But also, you would probably never be in the situation. And there's a reason why no one talks about the situation, because no one's ever in it, because it's a very stupid hypothetical situation to be in the first place. So, yeah. I just don't... The reason why I feel like he said that, like, I have to use my gun on these people, is because he doesn't see these people as reasonable, like, people with valid opinions. He sees them as, like, animals who don't know what they're doing, don't know why they're out here. And it's like, why did that guy, like, what did the cop think that guy was going to do? Why did the cop think that Jacob Blake was going to do going into his car like that? Casually walking, like, did he really think that he was going to grab like 3 knives and then do some crazy martial arts moves and be like foaming at the mouth, being like, I don't care if I die as long as I take your life with me? Like,
right.
He probably ain't gonna. People who rob you aren't even trying to shoot you half the time. So people don't actually want all this shit half the time. So you really think he's going to actually cause harm? Because what I've heard is that Jacob Blake was breaking up a fight when the cops came. He was breaking up a fight between some women, and other people said, yeah, but he like was a rapist or something. I don't know if that's even true.
I already had 3 assault charges against police, which to get an assault charge does not take very much.
Doesn't take, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like.
I mean, imagine
I got the level above that for spitting.
Right.
I got actually, so they didn't say aggravated assault, so I was actually 3 levels above that for spitting.
Nice.
Which
means he probably just
said assault means imply that you want to hurt them. So he probably was like, hey man, I'm gonna fuck you up if you handcuff me or something whenever they were handcuffing him.
Right.
And then they were like, that's assault.
Yeah,
and,
that's assault, brother.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't care, I'll still fuck you up. And they're like, that's 2 assaults. Like,
right. You want to go for 3 assaults, mister?
Don't make me turn this car around.
Yeah, don't make me turn this car around. Yeah.
It's probably not as bad as it sounds. Like,
and that's the thing. I mean, so part of why Michael Bloomberg is so controversial is because he was very pro stop and frisk, because he believed that most of the crime was coming from black people. I mean, maybe the statistics may have matched up for certain neighborhoods and cities. I'm not denying that, but the idea of stop frisk being enforced, that definitely is not a solution. I mean, first of all, that's more of a geography issue more than it is a racial issue. You shouldn't be racially profiling people with stop and frisk. But stop and frisk, imagine, and that's what happened, I think, with like Mike Brown in St. Louis when he was killed. The police were just randomly being like, I'm frisking you now because I can do that. I can legally do this to you. And so, like, imagine.
That's like unconstitutional.
It's it's a police state. It's super unconstitutional. It's extremely fascist. Like, which is the opposite of what America is supposed to be about, right? And so, imagine you're a dude, which you are, but imagine you're black as well as a dude, and the police every so often, we're not gonna say once a week, but we'll say once every 2 or 3 months, you get stopped and they check your pockets, see what's on you, see what you're doing, and all that shit. Like you're a fucking prisoner or something, except you're just walking around your neighborhood. And how much trouble are you going to be in half the fucking time with them aggravating you constantly? Like, of course you're going to get in trouble all the fucking time. And the police are fucking with you all the time.
18. Like
Jacob Blake, really?
No, Michael Brown.
Oh, yeah, Michael Brown. Yeah, Michael Brown was 18. Only stopped and frisked him. I'd be like, let's not call him a kid just because, like, we're trying to, get sympathy for him. Well, 18's a kid. I hate to break it to you, but 18's a kid. You're not.
Like, I did a lot of dumb shit when I was like 18, 19, 20.
Right.
I mean, I still do dumb shit, but like.
I mean, I was smart enough then to probably not mouth off to a cop, but with the way that the cops were harassing him, I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, like, fuck off. Like, I mean, look how white people talk to cops when they're in trouble.
I'm on private property. That's not private property. Your ID. What? You have no rights. Bullshit. I took you bullshit. That's not true. I had my seatbelt on. You fucking lying. We just put up the full screen here, but he said last night. I fucking did on the ground. Stop! You have no right. You're on private property.
It's making it worse. He's not black.
Yeah.
They literally, I mean, look at some of those Karen videos when they're like destroying fucking property and the cops are like, can you please calm down and walk with me, ma'am? And like, fuck you, pig, and like push them or something.
Yeah.
This shit's fucking over. This shit's 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 over. No. Dude, why? Why? You let everybody else do it. You let everybody else do it. Why I can't do it? Because I'm a blonde white woman? Fucking wearing a fucking $40,000 fucking Rolex. I don't have the fucking right to fuck shit up. I'm fucking. Sheep.
What are you gonna do, right?
Take it off. That's what I'm gonna do. Take it off.
Of course you are.
Take it off. All right.
You need to stop, or
Okay.
we'll take you in. Okay,
All right.
This is enough.
Okay. All right. Like it's a punishment for me to go sit in my Range Rover, but I'll do it.
I just don't want you annoying.
I'll do it. No, I'm not annoying. I'm annoying. Now you're calling me annoying.
Well, yeah.
Fine.
Nothing happens. Whereas Michael Brown, whatever. I mean, we don't have video. Maybe he was aggressive. Maybe he was pushing him or whatever. But I guarantee you, Michael Brown didn't walk up. The cop said Michael Brown tried to take the gun from him and got in the car with the cop and started punching him in the Yeah, okay, Michael Brown walked into a cop's car and started punching the cop in the face. Yeah, I fucking believe that shit.
An 18-year-old kid against a...
Yeah.
To be fair, like,
did he do
not to
bath
be
salts?
fair,
What are you
but,
talking
like,
about?
he was a big guy.
Right, no.
But like still though,
that's not good enough. Being scared of someone is not good enough, especially when every white person is apparently scared of every black person.
Right.
It's not good enough anymore. And that's what I'm saying. I think the thing my uncle said is related to what that cop actually did. I think he was extremely terrified of what this dude was going to do, and he thought like he had no fighting chance. He was in fear of his life. That's when you're supposed to be in fear of your life to kill someone.
It didn't look like he was scared at all. It looked like he was just like...
I mean, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. I mean, if we're talking about George Floyd and that cop who, like, when he put the knee on his neck, he definitely wasn't scared. He was just a fucking asshole. That was just like that was like an authority move. He was just like, I can't, you have to obey me. You can't get out of this. And I mean, I've seen the video too. There's the extended video now, with the camera footage, and everyone's been saying, oh, well, George Floyd didn't he actually resisted, if you watch the full video, because he straight up was like saying he's not getting in the car because he has a panic attack.
Right.
Maybe he was faking it. I don't know, but I don't think the solution for someone faking a panic attack is fucking killing them.
I resisted arrest. Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't get choked out.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't.
If you were black, you probably would have.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, so
Yeah.
I've been pulled over twice while I've been on probation, and both times I could have gone to jail.
Yeah.
If you were black, you would have.
Yeah. One, I was driving without proof of insurance. I had insurance, but I didn't have proof on me.
Which that's happened to me like 5 times.
And
almost every time I get pulled over.
Once I was,
if you just take a picture of it on your phone and show
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I have.
I've done that
that's
before.
a good idea.
Yeah.
You can also just like print out a paper. It just says the same thing. It literally.
You
is
don't
fine.
need the actual card. It's just the information.
right.
Yeah.
I just like.
It's just a safe
I
bet
even
to have
had
the
an
card.
old one in my car. I just didn't have the up to date.
Yeah,
one.
yeah, Usually, if you have, for me, whenever I show them the old ones, they don't care.
But the other time I was going.
They're supposed to give you like 24 hours. I don't know. It's fine.
Whatevs.
I was going 20 over the speed limit out of state.
Yeah.
I was in Missouri, and I thought it was like a 70 zone, because like everywhere is 70, and it was apparently like a 55 or a 60, and I was going like closer to 80.
Yeah, some of the were you on like the interstate, or where were you? Just
Yeah, I was on the interstate.
Yeah, because some of the like the bridges and interstates and whatever, it is like 55, which normally it wouldn't be for like an interstate. Normally interstate would be faster.
And it was like early morning, and the sun was in my eyes, and I wasn't fully paying attention.
There probably wasn't many cars on the road with you. Like,
there was a good amount of cars, but like
Jeremiah.
But like I was like, what are all these people doing? Like, why are they going so slow? And then I like drove past a unmarked cop car.
Yeah.
And he like flipped on the lights, and I was like, I'm going like 10 over, and then he was like, you realize you're going 25 miles.
You guys are
over?
going 25 over? No.
Like no.
I honestly no.
Yeah. But
like
if
legitimately.
I was black,
right.
I probably would have gone to jail.
They'd be like, I don't believe you. Yeah.
Because he came back, and I always every time I've interacted with a cop since my probation.
Right. They
always
see
come back
your...
and they give me this like kind of head cock like look like, and they always ask me like
you being a piece of shit right now.
Yeah. Like, they give me a look like, really, dude, and I'm like, yeah, sorry. Like,
Oops.
Yeah, oops. And they're like, and then he was like,
sorry, cop.
Do you want to get a ticket, son? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay. And he like walked away, and I was like,
you're like, honestly, no.
Yeah, I was like, and he said I was driving without my seatbelt. I took my seatbelt off whenever he came over. And
okay.
Didn't see that, but like I was like, I argued with him. I was like, I was wearing my seatbelt.
Yeah.
I was speeding.
But yeah.
And he was like, okay, well, pay more attention. And I was like,
right.
If I was black, it wouldn't have been pay more attention. It'd be like, can you prove you're sober or whatever?
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
Which is another big problem, is like the war on drugs is still going on.
That's exactly it. So, man, this is bullshit.
Are you still on probation?
I am on probation for like 2 more weeks.
Oh.
It's a long fucking time.
It was like a year.
Yeah, I think it's a long time.
It is a long time. Yeah, but like,
I think that's pretty standard for what...
Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, it's a bullshit charge, but like, for that...
So if you guys haven't remembered...
Like 15 years of prison or a year of uncourt supervised probation.
Sure.
Like give me, like, fuck me up with probation. Give
me
like 20 years of probation. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so if you guys, because Jim and I talked about it like a long time ago, but if you don't remember, he was just like drunk in public, basically. We don't have to go into all the details if you don't want to, but
I was drunk in
public,
I'll just do the
especially because like
highlights.
drunk
Drunk in public, passed out in the street.
Right.
They wanted me to go to the
Punk and
hospital,
public.
and I did not want to go to the hospital.
Right.
So they handcuffed me to a gurney, and I was like, "Hey, like fuck off!" And spit
Right.
on him because he was like, they were like pushing me down on the gurney, and
Right.
I was like, "Fuck off!" Like, and
Basically,
and
yeah.
then I spent 3 days in jail.
It's not as if he was in his perfect state of mind, and it was also he wasn't just like drinking for no reason. He was literally with his friend, and then shit happened. That's as it happens sometimes.
Also, like,
But yeah,
I feel like they shouldn't.
I want to say this about George Floyd and drugs. Some people were saying that he was faking the panic attack, which, first of all, man, I don't. If he might have been faking it because, like, he was terrified as fuck, right? And so it looks like he actually was having a panic attack. Because if he wasn't having a panic attack, he was still panicking. Like, maybe he was probably actually having a panic attack. That was a real panic attack. That's what I think. It just might not have been because he's claustrophobic. It might have been because he was afraid to go down for something. But at the end of the day, again, that shouldn't matter. There is literally no justification for what happened. But some people said it's because he had drugs in his system and they could have tested him for that. And that's why he didn't want to go down. That is the absolute worst fucking reason I've ever heard in my life for what happened then. Because first of all, that shouldn't have fucking mattered. If you have drugs in your system when they take you in, they should just take care of you. You shouldn't get in a bunch of legal trouble and have your life all fucked up because you had drugs in your system when they took you in, okay? They should like do something to actually help you.
I'm actually I watched I forget the name of the guest, but he did the show. Okay, I know his last name. Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia with Vice.
Yeah.
And he went on Joe Rogan, and he was arguing for essentially decriminalized to the almost legalized level of all recreational drugs.
Yeah.
Because Switzerland did that with heroin.
Yeah.
And they just give away heroin to heroin addicts, and it pretty much killed heroin addiction in Switzerland. And Switzerland is, like, for a European country, pretty right-leaning.
Right.
And they're like, okay, so we're looking at the money. It's actually cheaper to give away heroin than to keep going through all the court cases and putting them in jail and having to take care of them.
Well, we're putting harmless people into prison, which is taking money right out of taxpayers' pockets for basically no reason.
If we legalized all drugs and gave them away, and then we just were like, oh, so we won't let you OD, and you got to talk to us about why you're doing heroin.
Well, that's what they're doing in, I think, Canada and there might be some state here in the U.S. where they set up camps like that.
Yeah.
Where people will come in, they'll give them, like, drugs, basically, but they'll have to go through therapy and talk to someone. And I thought that was super interesting.
I mean,
like,
yeah, it makes sense.
Instead of punishing, like, because punishing someone for something they can't really help.
Yeah, well, once you're addicted, it's getting off is
almost like
you're gonna need help. There's no way to get off like without actual
help. And just throwing someone in jail to sweat it off isn't gonna help them.
Right.
No.
It's just gonna make life miserable and make them want it more. You know.
Right.
That was one of the things that stuck with me really when I went to jail.
Yeah.
There was a guy who was actively on meth, and he really wanted some more.
Yeah.
And then he started talking about it, and every other like guy in the room, I was in the like basically the drunk tank at that point, and it was like me and like 7 other guys all sharing a bunch of blankets in a cell.
Yeah.
And every other guy started scratching, like they were like
right
like, and they all got this look in their eye whenever they brought up meth, because none of them were really like done with meth. They all still really liked meth. They were just like not.
Being addiction is super tricky to deal with. People who
it's classified as a disease.
Yeah.
And you know how we treat everyone else with a different disease is we take them to the hospital and we give them the help that they need.
Yeah.
But for this particular disease, which people make a bad decision once in their life, and now they're.
Imagine it's like when people have ADHD or whatever, you give them something to help balance them out. These people are taking drugs that are literally fucking with the chemicals in their brains, and it's making them want more desperately, and it like changes. They can't like think properly and shit because they're hooked on this stuff.
It literally changes them.
They need, just like how those other people have like an imbalance in their brains, these people they need it too. Like they need help. They need,
I think, like,
something to balance it.
I think the argument is that, you know, they brought it on themselves. They chose to be addicted. But even that's not even the case.
No.
But like, you got like crack babies and stuff.
Right.
Like,
or like you were around drugs your entire life. And like,
it's
you want to, like, you're just basically pushed towards drugs your entire life.
like, okay, it's like, okay, so we're gonna punish everyone who did heroin. Imagine if we punished everyone who wore goth clothes in high school. Imagine we punished everyone who like has an embarrassing driver's license photo. Like, yeah, you do something stupid sometimes. It's just part of growing up. And
imagine if we treated DUIs the way we treat like chemical addictions.
Right.
Like, I know
It's
so
such a
many
double
people
standard.
with DUIs.
Such a double standard.
Yeah.
Cops don't give a shit about it. Like, I've heard
Yeah.
stories of cops who will, like, just let you drive home. They're like, oh yeah, like, you were swerving a little bit, but just try and drink less next time.
You know why? It's because they can identify and relate to that problem because it's a legalized drug that most of us have all done.
And but it's also, like, America's biggest addiction. Like,
and alcohol is more addictive than some like, I mean, way more addictive than marijuana, for example. But so it's like, yeah, I mean, that's what legalization does. I mean, honestly, we've humanized people. We've humanized alcoholics.
Yeah.
If we can do that with alcoholics, why can't we do it with all these other, people on drugs? So when people say, George Floyd, well, he only was faking his panic attack because he had drugs in his system.
He shouldn't be having to.
This law is bullshit in the first place. So I still don't agree with this police state bullshit. Like, I don't agree with that.
We're basically in another form of prohibition right now.
Yeah, we are.
But instead of it being really short, like with alcohol, where everyone was like, fuck you, Woodrow Wilson or whoever, it was like, we've just kind of let Reagan kind of keep his shit.
Well,
it's just such
more
an
people,
outdated...
It's because back then everyone was already drinking alcohol before it became illegal. Whereas with weed, they kind of got the jump on it.
Yeah,
people believed what they were saying about what it does to you. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you believe what like scientists, are supposedly saying? Why wouldn't you believe?
Even though there was like no actual scientific backing.
Why wouldn't you believe whatever like the government is telling you that experts are saying? Like, you would just believe it, and rightfully so. I blame the people who lied. I blame the liars. I blame Nixon. I blame Reagan. I blame all the drug people, all the anti-drug people.
It's only...
And it was an attack on the hippie movement because hippies were extremely liberal as why.
Hippies and black people.
Hippies, it was a 2-for-1.
I was about to say the entire, still to this day, the war on drug is pretty much just racist.
Yeah,
it's only there so that they could fuck black people.
It's really not a fair cut. They target black people way more than they target white people, and black people get worse sentences too. Which is something I really don't like about the male rights movement, is that when male victims are comparing themselves to female victims, they often talk about how male victims get way worse sentencing and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah, but you're counting black people, so you're kind of fucking up the issue here. Like, not all men are the same as black men. There's a huge difference there. So, but whatever.
I think they should at least decriminalize possession.
Yeah.
But maybe crack down on the selling.
What, like drug dealers, basically?
Right, yeah.
No, drug dealer. I've part of why I'm so pro legalization is because it's like eliminating drug dealers through capitalism. Mm-hmm. It's like they will have no business anymore if we just don't give them anything to sell. Then they have to go back to selling child pornography only, and that won't sell nearly as well. So, or they have to go back to selling illegal guns. It's not going to sell as well as weed. Weed is how you get people involved with criminals.
You can get anyone from any background to enjoy weed.
Right. This is a problem.
I have an uncle who's probably one of the So I know people who are more right wing than him.
Yeah.
But he's pretty fucking right wing.
Yeah.
And he used to grow weed in the woods at SIU.
Right wing people love weed because everyone loves weed.
Yeah.
It's seen as a liberal issue to want to legalize it, but it should be a populist issue, which it is a pretty popular idea right now to legalize it. So I think it was mostly the religious right that pushed so hard against it. But like really now, like so many people are for it. It doesn't even it really is baffling. It's not legal in all 50 states, but I mean, it's making more and more progress every year. So.
Right. And
The reason why it's making progress is Colorado decided to take the first big step and then say, look at our economy booming.
And then Illinois fucked it up, and they...
Well, yeah.
Because Illinois
is fucking... Yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah. But, like, the whole, like, oh, you can't grow any because that's still a felony.
Dude.
That's so retarded.
It doesn't make sense.
Like
is it legal or not?
I thought you could have, like, one plant.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
You ain't supposed to.
It's still a felony. Like, I know people who are...
You have to keep that shit under wraps.
Like, yeah, it's
because you have to have a license.
And it's like a 10 grand license.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper if you're black, actually.
Yeah, because they're trying to promote black businesses. Yeah. Which it makes sense then, because those neighborhoods have drug problems, and so that's why I think there's a dispensary in East St. Louis now, or at least they're making one or something.
Yeah, in Sauget, I've been to that one.
Yeah. Great.
If we get rid of all the like drug cartels and all the shitty drug dealers,
legalization is definitely hurting the Mexican drug cartels because the drug dealers in Mexico were profiting off of American like teenagers for so long.
But like,
and it's like, why would I don't want to buy weed from people who go to farms and hold up entire families and force them into slave labor making drugs. I don't want that weed. Most people just want to get high. They don't want all that shit. Okay.
Well, it also like makes drugs safer in a way.
Yeah,
because you don't have to worry about cutting.
Well, yeah. Right now, the fentanyl is that's like a huge issue, isn't it? Like with like cocaine and stuff. It's like people are getting like really dangerous shit in their drugs.
Yeah, they're getting like meth in their coke. And fentanyl in their meth.
Because they're trying to
heroin in their weed.
Yeah, because they're trying to get them hooked on other shit and trying to get them, to come back and pay more and shit.
Well, not just that, but it's also, especially with fentanyl. Fentanyl is like pretty cheap for the amount of like high you get.
Yeah.
And so if you mix in with something like, say, you got heroin, you still charge the same amount.
Right, you're making a lot more.
You're making
some
money,
profit off of that.
And then people end up ODing on fentanyl because they're like, "Holy shit, this heroin's good." And
yeah, they don't realize they're playing with fire, but they don't realize to what extent.
Yeah,
basically.
They're like they know how to not die on heroin. They don't know how to not die on fentanyl.
Again, you have to trust these people because it's the only way to get the drug that you want. And I'm not saying you should do any of the drugs. I don't even think you should. Honestly, I don't even think people should drink, but I do it all the time. But I'm just saying, like, this is America, right? We should give people the freedom to make the choices they want to make. Most people are gonna fucking choose no to heroin. Like, pot smokers are not gonna. They're gonna say like yes to fucking anything but not heroin.
Yeah.
No to like showering. Yes to Doritos. No to heroin. Yes to video games. But no one wants to do heroin.
A lot of pot smokers would go with like psychedelics too.
Oh yeah,
which
sure.
Psychedelics should totally be legal.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's enough education on psychedelics, but people do that alone and like in their rooms and stuff. They don't do it like in broad daylight and cause a ruckus or like what are we even afraid of people on mushrooms? Like, are we even afraid of what people might do on psychedelics?
There was a story of a pro MMA fighter who took some mushrooms and he ended up like murdering his friend.
Shit, damn son.
Because he had a bad trip. But that's way less rare than someone being an alcoholic or way less common than someone being an alcoholic and just like beating their kid to death.
Yeah.
Or like getting in a car and driving drunk.
Right.
And killing someone.
You're right. Anytime anyone brings up drug stuff, they always neglect to talk about all the horrible things that happen when people are drunk. It's like, yeah. That's why almost all those arguments, it's just fear mongering. You can throw them all out the window. They don't matter. So.
Yeah.
Just like, again, with the arguments with killing black people, you just throw them all away. None of them matter because if you walk around with an AR-15 and you're white, the police will go, well, this is normal. I mean, this is what white people do. They just walk around with their guns. But black dude can't have a knife. I mean, you know how many of us carry pocket knives because they're just fucking useful? It's just useful to have a goddamn knife, So
That's probably what it was too. Like they say knife.
Yeah,
And you
I want to
picture,
see
like,
the
a hunting
fucking knife.
I want to see the knife.
What fucking knife does this random dude have? You know,
that he keeps in his
Probably
car.
like a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, like what the fuck do you
It's
think
like
he's
the blade
got?
That'll bend if you like.
Again, it comes to the idea of like, do you think every black person is a monster, and is that why you shoot them? Because yeah, what the fuck? Sorry. What do we have anything to say about the kid at all? I mean, he's crazy, right? Like, I mean, so he is from Illinois and he went to Wisconsin to stand with his brothers in arms, like he's a soldier or something. Like this is a war against. It's a race war, I guess. Literally a race war. Fucking what was it? New York Times? Or was it New York Times? I guess I'll put it in here, but some like website was like, earlier before the shooting, he was seen cleaning up graffiti.
Yeah,
it's
that was New York Times.
Yeah,
try to humanize him.
It's like, I know he hates black people, and he's cleaning up graffiti that's pro Black Lives Matter. I know he's cleaning up. I don't give a fuck.
He'd do it with the gun if he could.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, people keep saying like, oh, if these people fuck with me, I'd fucking show them who's boss. Or like, hey, if don't fuck with me, I'd show my gun and then I'd fuck with them,
What is it with, like, the people who say that always being fat old white men?
Fat old white men.
Like, it's like, bro, like, you
yeah,
can't even get out of your truck fast enough. Like,
well, it's like, first of all, it's like such an admission of your insecurity. Like, what are you so afraid of, man? Most of those protests are just literally like kids barely out of high school or underage, very multicultural. It's not like a fucking group of like giant black men with insane muscles. It's like literally like a couple trans kids, fucking like 2 black dudes, some white women, some like 40-year-old white women hanging out with all these fucking kids, just like your local cat lady, and then and then like the random Instagrammer girl that's like they're just trying to pose.
right.
Like, what are you afraid of? It's like, why do you need to show up and like be like, I gotta protect these businesses. I'm a kid. I have to do this. School's starting back up soon. I have to do this. I have to fight for my police brothers.
I read something interesting on that the other day where it was talking about. So we were talking earlier about none of us ever learned really a lot of like civil rights in school.
Yeah.
Just the MLK.
Another thing.
Yeah, that's all they teach you is MLK.
Is that there's been a lot of protests and riots in American history, like a lot,
yeah,
that were based on like labor strikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I never heard anything about until like
yeah,
recently, and it was talking about like
because pro-socialist
using similar tactics back in the 1920s or whatever. Whenever the coal miners decided to strike,
yeah,
it's they're using right now. It's just like less severe right now,
yeah,
than it was back then.
Yeah, actually, we would not have unions today if people weren't reading Karl Marx back then and saying, "Hey, this is bullshit. We have no fucking rights. We have to work these insane long hours and whatever. We have no rights." So now we have unions and shit now, and for the time that was revolutionary. And now we've been using it more. Unions are great, but we've been kind of using it more as a band-aid solution because we're not fixing the root cause of a lot of the problems nowadays.
There's a lot
back
of
then it was
with unions.
Right. Yeah, especially of course.
Like police
unions for sure, because they're protecting. That's why they have immunity whenever they can just whenever they kill people, they have immunity because of all the police unions that protects their rights. Which is why what happens is they go on paid leave and then they come back. And I think some of the cop was the cop who killed Breonna Taylor. There's
3 of them.
One of the cops who killed someone posted a picture of them at the beach with like literally 2 girls, like one girl on each arm, and it's like, yeah, okay, like literally kill a cop or kill a black dude, go on a vacation in Florida.
Then
come back
and
you're
George Floyd one.
That was George Floyd. Oof, that's a horrible look. That dude's owning it. He's like,
and then he ended up going to prison or whatever, or like
I
he's
hope
in
so.
jail right now.
He better be, because they never do that. They never hold you in jail like they would do for anyone else.
Yeah.
They just like, we'll just wait for your court date, and we're gonna throw it out. And so it's like, yeah. Which there's a possible chance that I was just watching Vosh talk about this today, that he's talking about how that kid, it's very possible that they're trying to get him on murder with intention, like he came there to kill someone that night, like,
Yeah.
and he said that might not work and he might get off scot-free. And he said what happened with George Zimmerman was George Zimmerman murdered like without intention. And it's like, no, like, and so that wasn't like, it's like for George Zimmerman, they used the wrong version of murder, and that's why the case didn't work.
They gave him manslaughter or something.
Right. And it's like, so it didn't work. And it's like, no, you have, so like, he's worried that basically nothing's going to happen with the kid because they're going to fuck up the court case for some reason. And I mean, that could happen.
I accidentally fucked it up. Oh, well, I guess we have to call a mistrial.
That's what happened with with Michael Brown. What happened was like the lawyer who was what's he called it? He was assigned to whatever, the state lawyer that's assigned
prosecutor?
to. Yeah, he was like he was representing him, right? And he's like, the court case got thrown out. All I did was show them all of the facts so they could make a valid. That's not your job. Your job is is to go straight up. Here's everything I'm going to throw at you, and you have to be the one who tells me why it's bullshit. I'm throwing all my evidence at you. You're not supposed to go, here's all the facts.
Make a choice.
Yeah, make a good decision. Now, this did happen, which does make him look bad. You're not supposed to fucking do that. That's literally not your job. That's the jury's job. The jury's the one who goes, oh, which one? You're supposed to be straight up on the offensive or on the defensive only. You're not, and any lawyer knows this. Any fucking lawyer knows this. So, yeah. So that the Michael Brown case obviously thrown out because it was stupid. George Zimmerman case, a woman on the jury, like it was like a Mexican woman. She said that like literally no one there. They were all white people. She said no one there. She said all of them were more afraid for George Zimmerman than they were afraid of the idea of someone killing their son. She said like none of them could empathize with Trayvon Martin at all. And it's like, that's so like that whole case, again, everyone on the jury was fucking racist, I guess. Like it's supposed to be a jury of your peers. Yeah, right. It's supposed to be a jury of peers. Get like 4 black people in there at least, right? Both lawyers get to choose members of the jury. But like were no black people called in jury duty? How the hell did that happen?
Well, from what I've seen is there's
but also if because it's politicized, you're not supposed to have people who are biased to either.
That's true.
So that could have been that's one of the problems with high profile
things. Count as a bias either, just because you're the same color.
No, that shouldn't count. But I'm saying because it was a high profile case, people probably heard about it.
Yeah.
Beforehand, and that can control your bias. So.
But
like, have you guys been to jury duty yet? Because
I've never had to actually sit in
but
a
you
trial,
got called in.
But I've been called in like 3 times.
Yeah, I got called in, and they were just choosing the jurors, and so I was in the group of like, we're gonna choose like some of you guys.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have to go back, and
I forgot that holy shit.
Were you supposed to go and you didn't go?
No. I forgot that I could be.
Oh yeah, no, you could get. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
They might not do it for you yet since you're just now 18, but
it's whenever you sign up to vote.
Yeah, it's whenever you register to vote.
For jury.
It was for me. For me and for my friend, it was literally like the year we signed up to vote.
Okay.
they drafted. They put us in. But that's
speaking of draft, I had to sign up for selective service.
Yeah.
I think I had to do that to register to vote as well.
Yeah. You can't. It's basically impossible to get out of it. But the
I
idea.
know a lot of people who haven't.
But like the idea is like we'll never get drafted. Like that's even with Trump, that's super unlikely.
I think Hillary was more likely to bring back, but that was one of her.
Dude, a lot of Democrats
points.
For a long time wanted to make it so all 18-year-olds had to be a part of the military in some capacity.
Yeah.
Not serving. but like just be a part. Like they want like they just want kids to like learn life lessons. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with Democrats? Like, why are they? Even Jon Stewart, who's normally really, really smart, was all about this. And the whole time I was just thinking about like all the great 18-year-olds who like made careers for themselves really early on. I'm like, why the fuck would you force that? Let people who want
totally ruin someone's like.
If you want to do it, then do it. Don't
force it.
Don't force it. Some people know what they want to do at 18. I didn't, but fuck, like, don't. That doesn't mean like give everyone the choice. You know. So
that is what Switzerland does.
Yeah,
it's mandatory.
And I think they probably just saw other countries doing it, but it's like great, but
that's what Hitler did.
yeah, it is. But what were you talking about?
But at a much more extreme
18-year-olds jury duty. Oh, the only reason I brought up jury duty is because they showed the guy who was like, you know, he was the criminal, I guess, whatever, right? The jury, it was all about him, if he was going to be guilty or not guilty. And the two lawyers were like, anyone have any biases like against him because of his skin color? He was like mixed of some sort, and everyone was like, no. And like, what about, are you more likely to believe that someone with tattoos would be a violent criminal? And he lifted up his arm, he was like covered in tattoos, and everyone was like, no, even though like most of these people are lying. Like, yeah. Like, dude, mixed colored skinned dude with tattoos and like piercings, who's on trial for like robbing someone or something. You're bullshit. You don't automatically, you're like, oh, this guy's probably guilty. Like, yeah, bullshit. I bet you most people in there were like totally biased, but we're all white people, so like, no, we're not biased. I'm not a racist.
I would let him date my daughter.
Yeah.
Like,
now if I was in a protest and my wife needed medical assistance, I would pull out my gun and aim it at these people, but that doesn't mean I'm racist, okay? Now, if a black kid died, I mean, there might have been a reason why he did something wrong. I mean, but that doesn't mean I'm racist, okay? Yeah. Like, no one thinks they're racist unless you're like a Nazi, literally. Right. But nobody actually thinks they're racist, but a lot of people are. That's what people don't understand. Like, well, you're being racist, and they're like, no, like, don't say that. You're gonna ruin someone's life. And it's like, no, but you need to stop being racist. So
honestly, like, kind of props to Nazis, like.
Yeah, at least they're like, at least they know.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're being pretty racist. It's like, well, thank you, and it's like,
you're like, wow, you really mean that?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never thought of it like that.
Thank you. I'm glad you noticed. Like,
yeah,
I've been trying.
Yeah, finally, my work's paid off.
But all these Jews keep shushing me.
Yeah, like, all these Jews keep being nice to me, and I'm like, fuck off. Finally. Yeah. I was just watching some I was watching a lot of Michael Brooks. I didn't know if I wanted to really talk about this or not, but I guess I will real quick before this is over. Michael Brooks was on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. It's like they're left leaning, big time, super like progressive, but they actually like know, like, they're very well educated. They know what the fuck they're talking about. And what they love to do is they love to make fun of woke culture. To be like, guys, just because you're left leaning doesn't mean you have to be best friends with like purple haired college students who are just making shit up as they go and don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Those people annoy me so much.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I think all of us watch. I know me and you do, at least, Tyler. Shoe on Head?
Yeah, Shoe on Head. Oh, which her drama right now is amazing.
Yeah, and like what she said before, where she thought she was right-leaning because she didn't, like,
right,
like, want to, like, hang out with people like that.
Yeah.
Those people annoy me so much, like, most of the time. Like, it's like, you're so...
Yeah. Yeah. She's a YouTuber.
She's friends with Vosh.
Yeah.
But I honestly have a hard time watching Vosh because he seems really full of himself.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the people who are constantly like making bad jokes and points. Not that I think he has bad points. It's just that like sometimes I'm like, come on, you're not that funny. Like, you gotta stop with that. But
That's kind of it. It's like he thinks he's funny.
Then and it's a long format style because he's like literally streams himself just talking and then clips it.
Yeah.
Which is great whenever he's like responding to like a Ben Shapiro clip or something of that nature. But yeah. Though I like their interactions together on Twitter is great. Vosh and Shu.
Yeah.
Seeing them together is awesome. I think it's a good dynamic there. But Sargon of Akkad thinks that Vosh is trying to sleep with her or something.
I kind of honestly think that
and
too.
Well, Vosh lives with his girlfriend, so I just
he does. Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, like, and that doesn't mean anything. Liberals can be open relationship. Okay, they can.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit. Like, look at Bill Clinton. I don't think it matters at all. Not that he's much of a liberal, but what I'm saying is that like I'm just like, okay, come on, like. I know he probably gives off those male feminist vibes where they're like, ooh, you can trust me, ladies.
Not all rapists are male feminists, but
all male feminists are rapists.
And like I didn't know who Vosh was really until Shu broke up with Armored Skeptic.
Yeah.
And then Vosh popped up hard, and every time she tweets something, he's like right there, like within an hour.
He's like that with some other people too.
Okay.
It's because Vosh is just getting more popular, and part of that is because of Shoe on Head.
Yeah.
She's part of his, she's part of the reason why he's growing. But man, Sargon has been a fucking annoying piece of shit for like since Gamergate. He's been an annoying piece of shit for so long. Which Shoe on Head was really popular during Gamergate too. That really boosted her up. Back then is when Shoe on Head was first like, hey, just so you know, I'm left leaning and I hate this woke shit so much, and this can be a bipartisan issue. That's not what happened with Gamergate. Like the right leaning people took it over, and Shoe Head just was kind of there by herself, and she's like, "Hi, I mean," and then everyone called her a Nazi. But that's when they called Filthy Frank and PewDiePie and H3H3. They called all those guys Nazis. And it was like because they just were like liked PewDiePie basically, and he's dressed up as a Nazi in some video, some stupid reason.
Frank said the N-word quite a bit.
Yeah,
and like,
but
so did PewDiePie said it like once or twice.
Yeah,
and
PewDiePie.
Then, Frank said it a lot.
Yeah, Frank. No, a lot of the people on YouTube were saying it very casually, and I would agree that it's not really something you should be saying casually, even if it's so jarring that it's funny. Like maybe it's a problem if your fan base keeps saying it. Like right now on Twitter, Leafy just keeps saying the N-word constantly, and it's like, maybe you should stop doing that.
Right.
Maybe that's part of why he got banned off Twitter, which we also couldn't. We could have talked about that recently. Not Twitter. He got banned off YouTube. If you didn't, did you hear about that? Leafy is banned off YouTube forever.
What'd he do?
He just made like 12 videos about Pokimane, but they're not all about her. But every thumbnail, she's on the thumbnail, and he literally said in a video that if you talk about Pokimane, you get a bajillion views because everyone wants to make fun of her and her simps. And he literally said in a video he's not going to stop until he got banned, so he got banned. But also, he made a video called like. Pokimane speedrun, where he linked her actual Discord and said, hey, go to her Discord and try to see how fast you can get banned. And he's like, this guy has the fastest speedrun of 12 seconds. And he goes, actually, before I uploaded this video, someone beat it in like 6 seconds. And just like go into her Pokimane's Discord, type in the N-word a bunch of times and get banned. And it's like, Leafy, I don't know why you got banned off YouTube. Is it because you were like harassing the fuck out of Pokimane? I don't know. And everyone's like, this is a bad precedent. What if it happens to you next? It's like, I would never do what Leafy did.
Yeah.
No one on YouTube is going. Even Keemstar wouldn't do what Leafy did. Okay, like, no one's getting banned for what Leafy did because Leafy's he's just edgy. That's the whole point. He's just super edgy. So yeah, that was, I mean, he used to be the guy famous for going, is this kid with Down syndrome retarded? Yes. that was Leafy's legacy, is calling mentally handicapped people retarded. So Yeah, I wonder why he got banned off YouTube. But anyway, yeah. What was I talking about? Michael Brooks. But why did I start talking about Leafy after Michael?
We started talking about. You said
oh, talking about Sargon,
anti-woke.
Dude. Yeah, anti-woke people. Well, I was talking about Sargon of Akkad, because Sargon's latest thing is he made a video where he goes, he tagged Shu in the video. He put at Shu. He said, "Communists are bad people at Shu," and he said, "Now I don't want to. I like Shu on head. I'm not making this video to start a fight at all. I just think this is something which should be addressed." And then proceeds to say Vosh wants to have government officials remove you from your home because that's what communists want, and he's a communist. He's not a communist. He's a democratic socialist. He doesn't want people to forcibly take away your things so that way we can all be equal.
Yeah.
That no one wants. I mean, some people probably want that.
Yeah, it's like actual communism.
Yeah,
like
but Vosh doesn't.
Kind of fuck communism.
Vosh doesn't want that. He's literally never said that. And he goes, and this is what these are what Shu's friends say. And he posted like people that Shu on Head doesn't even know. And like, this is Shu on Head's friend. and he starts his video by saying he doesn't want to start a fight. You're fucking lying about her like all throughout the video, just lying about Shu on Head. And she got a shit ton of harassment after that video came out, which who the fuck is even watching Sargon of Akkad? Like, okay, so he has like multiple debates with Vosh where he gets schooled so bad. It's one of those things where even if you're on his side, there's no way you can think he won because Vosh just tramples him. Like, he's way in and over his head. But I just watched.
That is a skill set that I've heard that like Vosh is really good at.
He's a
good
debater. Yeah, which it's true. Sometimes you can get into an argument with someone and you're literally right, but you might lose the argument. Like,
what did you say? He's a master debater.
Terrible. But yes, I would. Yes, I would totally say that. Shit, son. Sargon. So I was watching this old video from 4 years ago of Michael Brooks from the Majority Report, where he was talking about the regressive left. He was talking about Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, Ben Shapiro, and Dave Rubin. And those people are called the intellectual dark web because they're intellectuals apparently. And Sargon was debating him, and he said the regressive left are people who focus solely on identity politics, which stops people from making meaningful like laws and like basically it stops people from doing laws that would actually make change because people are too focused on race. So basically what he's saying is you're protecting Muslims just to virtue signal, but you're letting Muslims do terrible things. And Michael Brooks is like, hi, I'm Jewish. I'm against, he's like, I'm a non-Zionist. I'm against what Israel is currently doing to Palestine. I've spent many years in Israel. I've spent many years in Turkey. I've spent many years in Muslim countries studying international relations. You're an idiot. And he said like, oh, well, think about the only point he could make, because he kept trying to make a point about Muslims stoning women to death. He's like, that literally doesn't happen. That's not what people know.
That is still a thing in Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
It's not to, I mean, I think it is technically like something that can happen.
Yeah.
But it's not something that really happens to the degree that most Americans would make you ought to believe. And also Saudi Arabia, that's not a Muslim problem. That's an American problem. America fucking funds Saudis to let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But, and which is crazy because Saudi Arabia is where they planned out 9/11 and fucking, so I don't know why we're such good friends with them, but it's almost
filled with oil.
Yeah, it's I have some conspiracies about 9/11 and stuff, but yeah. But anyway, but so Sargon started going back to talking about how Islam hates gay people, like Muslims. You can't be Muslim and gay, and that's a horrible thing. We need to stop that. And he's like, so you're telling all these people who are Muslim and all these like Muslim theocracies in these third world countries that they're bad because they're not supportive of gay rights? Like, first of all, this is purely identity politics. This is literally SJW shit.
Yeah.
But second of all, which the whole point, the only reason that matters because Sargon is super against that. But like, second of all, that's a huge problem in America, for one. Like,
we still have the God hates fags people walking around.
Exactly. Like, and it obviously, just like it's not all Muslims, it's not all Christians. But that's the thing. We need to start saying it's not all Muslims, because there's Muslim groups in foreign countries, in those countries, in religious theocracies, in third world countries, saying we need movements to protect gay people and we need to be more supportive of gay people. So no, the only people who are judging people based off of identity is the intellectual dark web, and who just want to be racist and sexist and homophobic and whatever. They just want to be racist, and they're saying like people on the left are too woke to let us do that. And it's like, yes, there are weird wackos who are woke people on the left, but like that doesn't mean, like, first of all, most people on the left who are actually having conversations about this stuff, they're not Hillary Clinton supporters. They're not, your mainstream Democrats. You talk to anyone you know right now, they're probably not going to tell you they like fucking Hillary Clinton. Like,
no.
Like, I don't know anyone who likes Hillary Clinton. I don't know anyone who liked her back then, even when it was her versus Trump. I didn't know anyone who. I only knew people who regretfully were voting for her. Like,
I think I knew one person who was pro Hillary from the start.
And then the interesting part would be to ask why, and that I would love to hear. So
I think I don't want to name drop.
Don't name drop.
Yeah,
but could you say, like, did they ever say like why they would want to vote for Hillary versus?
I didn't talk to her. It was about it. It was
okay, but like, because
I'm just gonna mouth it without saying it.
Oh well, yeah, but like, again, it's always people, in my opinion, who are kind of not really focusing on the policy issues and whatnot, and focusing more on like the buzzwords, which would be the wokeness.
First woman president kind of stuff.
It'd be like the wokeness aspect of it. And so identity politics is what Hillary ran on. She lost horribly because most Americans were already tired of it after like 1 year. They're like, okay, we're done. Like, we don't care anymore. We don't want to talk about policy issues. The funny thing is that if you want to help black people, maybe you should go more for those Bernie Sanders-esque laws that would help the poor people, which would help black people who are poor. It wouldn't help rich black people, but I don't think rich black people need the help. So,
like, racism is still a thing against rich black people.
Yeah.
But that's something I see. That's also part of the reason I haven't watched Vosh, is because he calls people with that opinion class reductionists, where, like, you think the only problem has to do with money.
Right.
It's like, no, like, racism's real.
Yeah,
but,
it
like,
is. Yeah,
poor black people is, like,
rich black people,
really common.
Rich black people can still be racially profiled by police, and rich black people are still pulled over, like, more often and whatever, right?
Have you guys heard the argument that black people make up, what is it, like 16% of the population, but they make up a little bit
more than that, but yeah,
they make up like 60% of the crimes or something.
Yeah, it's way the numbers are like way off. Like, they're not supposed to be. It should never be that high for how low the population is. Yeah,
but like, look at the poverty. How
many and how much that's affected by that.
Poor.
Right.
Like, the majority of black people are poor, and statistically, what do poor people do? They commit more crimes.
Right.
And like, yeah, like,
and it's not rocket science. When you look at poor white people, the crimes are high.
Ghetto people, are like the exact fucking same as rednecks. Like, if you, I've hung out with like both groups a lot. Like, I live in an area that's like really redneck, and then I've gone to do like.
Which,
like, I'll
by the way,
go do stuff with homeless people or whatever in the city.
Yeah.
They're the exact fucking same people.
Yeah.
It's just like.
Well, yeah, they're uneducated.
That's all
that matters.
You got black people and you got white people, and if you're black, you're ghetto, and if you're white, you're a redneck.
Right.
And it's not even necessarily like that they're dumb.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not.
But they're uneducated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
yeah.
they're poor.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're uneducated and they have nothing to do, and yeah.
Yeah, and they like.
They can't spend their money. They ain't got no money.
Do you know how many people in the ghetto would 100% go do like the kind of shit I do for fun, like ride around on like 4-wheelers and
Right.
shoot guns or whatever, if they had the space and like.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyone who's spent any time with middle class black people will tell you, just like how we are like, we cringe at rednecks, they cringe at like ghetto people.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Shane, yeah, racist black people, of course they exist. But I feel like there's more black people racist towards other black people than there is towards white people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like everyone's going to be, they're going to cringe at their own race doing like cringy things. But we have to understand like why these things happen. And that's the thing. So something else I also found interesting was that apparently white families have very similar numbers to absentee fathers as black families. And that's been this big talking point for so long if black fathers didn't walk out on their families, their kids would act better. First of all, no, that's just fucking stupid. But second of all, yeah, apparently that's just a myth that it's more often with black people. Like, it happens all the time with white people too. And of course it does, because white people have a horrible drug problem. So of course that shit's gonna happen. So
I have heard also, I don't know if it used to be more common that black men would do that, but I heard
it might have been, because that was a huge talking point for so long.
I
totally
something
believe
about,
it.
That was the only way for their kids to get welfare.
Oh yeah. Everyone used to always say that like black women were just welfare queens and they're getting pregnant on purpose and stuff.
Well, not just that, but I mean like the black men would purposely leave. Because they realized they couldn't make enough money to support this kid.
If I was a redneck, maybe I'd believe that, but I don't believe that as of right now. I don't believe that.
I mean, I could see white people doing that too, like
yeah.
In a trailer park, like doing it for like you'd rather have the kid have a better life than you could give him.
I could totally believe that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure people do that. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure people do that. I'm sure women will do it against men's will as well, and just so they can get the check. And but what I think is really the most likely case, what I think really happens the majority of the time, is that people are in dumb relationships and they think they're really in love and they're not, which happens to most everyone who exists. So the only difference is that a lot of us aren't trying to have kids that early and start and all that shit, or maybe they don't know much about protection and blah blah blah.
Or don't have access to it.
Right, yeah.
Like,
I mean, what if you don't even know you're pregnant until you are? Like,
or like, in a lot of places, like, sex ed isn't really taught.
Sex ed is only like just now getting taught. Like,
it's still not in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Like,
I was taught abstinence.
Yeah, me too.
It's so stupid. I'm super against abstinence.
I was like, teacher, I'm horny right now. So how about you shut the fuck up? Yeah.
I was raised super Christian homeschool.
Yeah.
I was definitely given the like abstinence.
But statistically it doesn't work.
Yeah. No, because kids are just gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
They're
gonna do it anyway, and
you're just horny as fuck.
Then they don't know how to protect themselves if it does happen.
All they just tried to teach girls to slut shame each other really hard. Like, girls, you gotta slut shame each other. It's the only way. Otherwise, you're just not real people. I'm like, shit. And so they all slut shamed each other, and I'm trying to get laid over here at like 16. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who cares if you're a slut? All women are sluts, and that doesn't get you anywhere. I was on the if she breathes she a thought shit way back then, and it didn't work. But yeah, no, I mean, you got just tell. First of all, it's completely natural to have those urges and feelings. Okay, you literally wake up with a hard dick. And you're telling kids, don't touch it, don't stick it in stuff. Like, it's hard fucking, like, 15 hours of the day or whatever. Like, it's hard constantly for no reason.
I mean, do you remember being, like, 12, 13 when you're first hitting puberty? Yeah. It's just hard 90% of the time.
You just think you're a freak.
Yeah.
You that's why people relate to Spider-Man. Because that scene when he's shooting everywhere, like, that's me.
Yeah.
Literally, you're like, I'm fucking Spider-Man right now. But I'm not the cool part. I'm the fucking shitty part.
Yeah.
I'm, like, crawling on the wall and shit and my mom knocks on the door and I'm still stuck to the ceiling. I'm like, no, get off the ceiling. But in this case, it's like you're covered in cum or whatever. Like, you know? In this case, it's a bit different. And yeah,
every time you do it, you're just absolutely disgusted with yourself.
Yeah, because you think you're just like, oh, I'm fucking weird. You don't want to tell any of your friends, even though they're all going through literally the same fucking
When
thing.
I was like, I hit puberty before any of my friends did.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and I
Yeah.
didn't even have like, you know, like friends who had like older brothers or whatever. So it wasn't even like I watched them go through that when I was a little kid, and I was like, oh, like,
yeah.
I was the first one I knew to go through puberty, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like,
no. Yeah. My dick.
what is wrong?
No.
Yeah.
No, my older brother got taught sex ed when he was like in 6th grade. I was in 1st grade, and he goes, hey, let me tell you something. And like him and like the 2 girls that were at the house that we were like babysit at, like whatever, after school.
Yeah.
They're just like, we got pamphlets and shit, boy. And they're just like all like just like sitting me down and like telling me all this shit. And I like didn't understand. I thought you had sex in the butt. I like did not understand what the fuck they were telling me. They like showed me pictures of a vagina, and I was like, I don't know. It's not registered. Like, I'm like, that makes no sense, and I can't process it. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Girls stand up when they pee.
Where's her dick?
Yeah. Well, like, no, I think in my head I imagined like ball sacks just without a dick.
I thought everyone had ball sacks
Yeah.
when I was little.
Yeah, it's just like that's where the ball sack is, because it doesn't communicate. You can't process what it looks like, and they're like literally, it's like, you know, the medical pictures.
Okay,
it's
but
like that means nothing to me.
You two grew up with brothers.
Right.
I grew up with 2 sisters.
Yeah.
So I knew there wasn't I knew. I was fine.
You knew what?
I knew that.
Well, yeah. Well, you used to like, yeah, whatever.
I was really little whenever I thought, like, I was like,
Yeah. I was little too.
because I thought it was your bladder, is what I always called that when I was like 6. I was like,
oh yeah, your
5,
ball.
6,
You called
7.
your ball.
Yeah,
I think I
called
might
it-
have done that before too.
I called it my bladder, like and then
All those
I
thoughts
was
I
talking
had
with one
when-
of my like female friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, I said like, oh, my bladder itches or something like that, and she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you know, your bladder hangs down. She's like, I don't have that, and I was like, something's wrong with you. Like,
You're like, oh shit, you
Yeah.
need to go to the hospital right now.
yeah, you gotta get
You like
your
you
bladder
pull her
sampled
pants
back
down
up.
and you see what's there. And you're like, what the fuck happened? Did you get in an accident? No. Yeah. A lot of my friends. Yeah, well, I mean, typically, if you have a sister, you just understand women on like a way deeper level than people who don't have sisters, because you have to live with them. So, yeah, I did not have that. I was just very confused. But yeah, I understood boobs, because like how everyone understands that, which is why you should just be able to show them. Because everyone, like, literally when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, no, boobs make sense, because you just look at any woman, there's some fucking tits right there. But the idea of like kids can't handle seeing boobs, I don't know, you literally drink milk from them when you're a baby, so
You just get cut off at a certain age.
yeah,
It's
like no
okay,
more
now-
looking. You can look at tits, but it has to be your mom's tits. Like, what is this deal? I didn't sign up for this shit. Like, show me other ones. Maybe I'm thirsty for something else. Maybe there's some good milk out there. I don't fucking know. I'm like 3. I don't know when I was stopped. I don't know if I don't even know if I was breastfed, first of all. But all right, I think I'm way off topic from what I was talking about.
Yeah, we started out on like
My-
anti-woke.
Yeah.
And now you're
Look,
talking
all I'm
about, like,
saying is you can be anti-woke and liberal. There you go. You can also be red, leaning, conservative, and smoke weed. There you go. You can also believe in God and evolution. There you go.
I'm an atheist.
I'm covering all my bases. Yeah. I'm an atheist and I believe in God.
Yes, we exist.
We exist. I'm gay and I only fuck women.
There are.
I'm a
people like
vegan and
that.
I eat meat. Yes, we
Ugh.
Yes, I'm a vegan. Yes, I eat.
Deal with it.
Alright, well,
Wrap it up.
okay, bye.
Okay.
Hey! Stop! 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 He's not. Oh my God! Are you kidding me right now? This is my car. It's not even his car. I'm on private property. I was on private property. Your ID. For what? For what? You have no rights. Bullshit. I took you.